since it will look familiar to you because we've talked about parabolas at the center, then move them around. We've talked about ellipses at the center, then move them around to h comma k. We've talked about on Friday the hyperbola at the center, and then today we're going to move it around. So it's very, very convenient, very, very familiar to you. So here's the first idea. We're going to just dive right in. We're going to graph and find the equation for this hyperbola right here. It's going to be a center located at the 1 comma negative 2. A focus will be located at 4 comma negative 2. And a vertex will be located at 3 comma negative 2. So we have some information. We need to put that information onto a graph and then come up with the actual graph itself and then find the equation. So just like before, I would recommend just starting out by putting everything that you possibly know onto the graph so you can get yourself going. Okay, it's pretty good. What's one thing we know, Omar? Yeah, where is that, buddy? 1, -2. Good, so there's my center. What else do I know? Give me one other thing. Olivia, what else do I know? That's great. That is the right answer. But what else can I put on my graph before I know that? 1, 2, 3, 4, -2. Yep. Is that what gave it away for you? Yeah. Yes, good. And then I know a vertex is at 3, -2. So, ladies and gentlemen, if I know that my center, my vertex, and my focus are all on the transverse axis, then it has to be a left-right transversal axis. So that means I'm going to go ahead and draw in my transversal axis right here. Has to go left and right through all of those points. So far, so good? Does that answer your question? Daniel, did that answer your question? Oh, yeah. Okay, what else do you see? You got it. So if the vertex is 2 units to the right, it has to be 2 units to the left. Same thing with the focus. So I got a vertex there and I have a focus there. All right, great. What do we call the distance from the center to the vertex? A, B, or C? A. So I happen to know that A, nope, don't want to do that. I know that A is equal to 2 units, so that means that A squared has to be 4 units. I know B is the distance from the center to the top and the bottom of my box, which I don't actually have yet, so I'm going to hold off on that. But I do know that C is the distance from the center to the focal point, which is a distance of 3 units. So that means that C squared has to be a distance of 9. Is everyone okay so far? Now, what's the relationship between A, B, and C? That's right. So C squared equals A squared plus B squared. So 9 has to be 4, plus B squared. So what does B squared have to be? So B squared has to be 5. So B is plus or minus the square root of 5. I guess that's what that means. Now, how much is that? That's like 2.24 if you check on a calculator. So that means from the center, I need to go up 1, 2, and then 0.24. And then down 1, 2, and then 0.24. And then you have enough to draw the box. All right. I did not do a very good job at all of drawing that box. But we get the point. Okay, great. Now I can draw my asymptotes because I can put in from the center to the top right of the box and out and then down and then center, top, left, out, and down. All right, so my equation that I'm going to use to figure out for this graph is going to be something like x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. Now, how did I know that was the right one to use? Yeah, the cheat sheet, but there's also something else that gives it away. What is it? Yeah, the a squared needs to be under the x, which is left and right. And that's the positive one. Okay, where is the center? Well, the center is located here, 1, negative 2, so that's the h and that's the k. So when I plug this in, I'm going to have x minus 1 squared over a squared, which is a value of 4, minus y plus 2 squared over b squared, which is a value of 5, is equal to 1. And that is our equation. Good, good, good. Blue. All right, so we have the equation. Now we need the equation of the asymptotes, okay? You can look at the cheat sheet, and the asymptotes have now changed. But the cool part about it is that all you have to do is write in these parts for the asymptote and then figure out if it's up A and over B or if it's up B and over A. Well, in this case, we went up B and we went over A. So then it's going to be B over A. So if you look at your cheat sheet, it does say the equation for the asymptote is just going to be y plus 2 equals plus or minus B over A, which in our case the value of B was the square root of 5, the value of A was 2, times the quantity x minus 1. So those are our asymptotes. I know, it's an easy form, right? You don't even have to find like x-intercepts or anything like that. Just plug in straight to the form that they've been given to you. It's actually really nice, right? All you gotta do is move the center to wherever it needs to be. All right, last thing, we get to draw the actual hyperbola. So starting from the vertex and going up and staying within the confounds of the actual asymptotes here. I'm going to go up and down, and then up and down here, and then finally up and down there, and that plus 11 equals 0. All right. First of all, what do you notice about this thing? Not in the right form, so who's got a plan? You got it. We're going to complete the square on which term? On both x and y terms. All right. So what I like to do is I like to gather all of my x terms. So negative x squared minus 2x, and then plus 4y squared minus 16y equals negative 11. So I moved my constant term to the other side of the equation. So gather your x terms, gather your y terms, and get ready and set up complete the square. So I'm going to have a negative 1 on the outside of my binomial to create my perfect square trinomial, because I want the value of a to be a positive 1. So that's going to give me x squared plus 2x plus something plus 4 times the quantity y squared minus 4y plus something else equals negative 11 plus the first thing plus the second thing. Now there are 2 warnings. Does anyone see both of the warnings? 1, 2 people see it? 3 people, 4, 5, 6 people? Oh, lots of people see it, right? The first warning comes with a negative 1 being factored out, and the second warning comes because there's a 4 being factored out. So what's the magic number for the perfect square trinomial in the x term? Yeah, half of 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. But what number goes here? Very good, because we take negative 1 times 1 to give us the value of negative 1. Second warning, half of negative 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 squared is 4. But we take into consideration that we're multiplying that by 4, so 16 goes on the right-hand side. You guys got that? You sure? No big deal? So, warning. Warning. All right. How does this break down? Who can do it? Yeah, go ahead, Ethan. Yeah, negative 1 times x plus 1 squared plus 4 times, what's this going to break down to? Ethan again. Y minus 2 squared. On the other side, I have a negative 12 and 16. Is that 4? All right, cool. We're almost home free. Who knows what I'm going to do next? Divide by 4, but I'm also going to do something else. Anybody know what it is? Yeah, Olivia sees it. I'm going to switch these two. I'm going to switch this term and this term. I'm going to switch them places. Why am I going to do that? So the positive numbers first and the minus sign is in the middle. You guys are on top of it. Nicely done. So here's what I have. I have y minus 2 squared over 1 minus x plus 1 squared over 4 equals 1. And that's my equation. So you tell me, is this a left-right transverse axis for my my hyperbola? Or is this an up-down transverse axis? This is so fun. Transverse up, what do you think? Yeah, this is an up-down. Let's name some things we know. It's an up-down. Because the a value is underneath the y, which is positive in this case. Where's the center? Can you name it for me, please? No. No. Negative 1, comma 2. The h is always with the x. The k is always with the y. What's the value of a squared? 1. Good. What's the value of b squared? Good. Very nicely done. And then you're right back to problem number 1, right? Okay, here we go. So the last one you try on your own, the last 10 minutes of class, this is what I'd like you to do. With your partner, I want you to find the center. TA stands for transverse axis. Vertices, foci, asymptotes, and sketch the graph of this equation. This is a standard question that will more than likely be on the test on block day. So if you can handle this, then you've got all your basic. Okay, let's write down all the things that we know here. Okay, we define the center, right? So, Brody, where's the center? So our center should be at negative 1, comma 2. Next thing we needed was the transverse axis. What's the transverse axis? Y equals 2.
No, I got it.
Isn't it something else?
Yeah, it is. Can you pick me, Coach? It's y minus 2 is
No,
equal
the transverse axis. The transverse axis.
y.
Gus, what is it? X equals negative 1. Very good. Vertices. Where are the vertices at? Yeah, Gus, go. Negative 1, 5, and then negative 1, negative 1. Where are the focal points? Negative 1, 6, and what's that? What is it? Yeah. Good. That's what it looks like to me. Look at this graph. Okay, what are the asymptotes? Y minus 2 quantity squared. Is that right? Yikes, that's not right there. Y minus 2 quantity squared equals 3/4? 3/4 times x plus 1. Yes. Let's see if this is right. Okay, and let's put that on the graph, and let's see how that asymptote behaves. Oh, it's not squared, is it? There we go. Erase that. There we go. Hey, that looks pretty good. Where's the other one?
Negative.
Yeah, the negative of that, right? So can I do plus or minus? Will that work? Probably. Oh, yeah, it does work. Okay. So we've got a center. We've got our box there. So if I was going to draw on the grid, right, my center is at negative 1, comma 2. Notice it goes right there. Notice that I would draw the box. I'd go up and down. Like that. How far left and far right would I go? 4, right?
Mr. Uriel, we should all have tablets just to make it as nice as yours.
I know, man. Exactly. Something like that. I kind of did that really fast. But there you go. There's the answer.